today. This is a tag brought to you by JC Mountain Ajar. It was a conversation him and I had a few weeks ago about sharing our automatic knives. For those of y'all that don't know, automatic knives are not illegal in the state of South Carolina. We've always been able to carry them. There was a stigma around, of course, switchblade knives or stilettos, but by a large part, that stigma is gone. A lot of people are carrying them, and they've just kind of become the norm with all the flipper knives and other knives we have. But here in South Carolina, we can carry what we want. There's no restrictions on that. And so they've always been readily available in flea markets and gas stations. But I'm going to show you my knife collection here, from least to the greatest, and just tell you a little backstory about each one. This was one my dad got probably from a flea market salesman sample. It actually, if you hit the button, it's locked. You have to push this forward. It almost takes 2 hands to deploy. It actually does take 2 hands to deploy because it's a forward push, not a back. Like some knives, if you pull back and push down, that makes sense. This one's a forward. So it's a little bit of a poor design, really cool blade shape. Again, push it forward and it deploys. It's a made in China knife. Cool blade shape. So it's one that I received from my dad. I'll just set them down here so you can kind of see them open. Hopefully all that'll show up on screen. This knife, back in the early 90s, I went to Mexico, and it was Matamoros. We stayed in Brownsville, Texas, and we'd go over to Matamoros, Mexico. These knives were readily available, and we would go down there and buy them. And of course, this type of switchblade, there was still a little bit of a stigma about it, so you didn't find these everywhere, but you could go to Mexico and buy these really inexpensively. And so we would buy them and bring back friends. You could get them for a couple dollars a piece. Of course, this one, there it is a big boy. It says Italian Milano, which its dirty little secret is China. So it's a made in China knife. Actually pretty solid. We're going to compare it to a real one and here in just a bit, but that's the top dog that you see up there at the top of the screen. Again, it says Italian Milano. It's a good knife. It's got that little release. Oh, where's that? Sorry. Oh, here you go. This is one of those you side pressers. You hit the bolster. The other one's not. Again, quick deploy. Really strong spring in this knife. The lock doesn't work, so it just is what it is. This was actually one my brother gave me. He had one left over from that trip, and he gifted me that one. I was talking about it one day. So he's like, here you go. But this is a knife. I've actually had 2 of these. This is probably one of my most carried over the years. It's a little switchblade. You can tell it's been used. The tip, that's back when I was using a pull through, like a workshop sharpener. You can see the tip is a little weak there. Again, note to self, don't use those. No, you can also see where I've kind of ate in the blade. But this was my at work user. It got used a lot. Again, the spring's not too light. It does have a lock on there to keep the blade from closing. If you hear that, that's my neighbor. He's checking out a Sawzall. Anyway, again, that was a flea market find. I've had 2 of those. This was a gas station find. This is a big boy here. I don't know if you hear that. If you hear that spring, again, this one's got a lock. Listen to that. That one almost fly out of your hand. It just says stainless. I don't know the make and model. Again, I can't turn it sideways. This is a big, huge knife. I've carried this one a lot. I put a little red paint pen line there so I would know if it was on deploy or not. That way when I stuck it in my pocket, I could tell what was going on with it, because these will pop open in your pocket if you don't have the safety on. But again, I've carried this one. One more thing about this one, again, same time period as pull-through sharpeners. I didn't know dragging it through would take the tip. Again, that was in the early 2000s, so y'all forgive me. I've learned a lot about knives since then. This right here is my new daily carry. It is a hidden release by Cobra Tech. It's got D2 steel. Those are bone handles. I've actually been carrying this one a lot. The bone was pristine when I got it, but you can see it's starting to get a little patina there. I'm actually going to do the big Jim trick and dye these handles in coffee, but I want to do it on a video where you can kind of see what happens. Sorry about that sound there. It's again, it's next door neighbor. Anyway, this is a Cobra Tech, great knife, bolster lock, hidden release, very clean knife. There's a lot of debate of whether these are made in U.S., made in China. They do have a lifetime warranty, but they are assembled here in the U.S. out of Chinese-made parts, and that is what the company had to say about it. But great knives, great knives. I love this one. I carry this one often. I know brother Dwayne from Clark's Kentucky Knives has an amazing stag version of this. He calls it his church carry. And this knife I want to talk about a little bit. This is the one that started the whole pushback against switchblades. This is by M Italy. This is actually an Italian-made switchblade, also known as a stiletto. That is buffalo horn handles. This knife was in very poor condition. You can see I did a lot of cleaning up, a lot of gluing. There's some gapping there between the liners and the back spring, but it is all good. This is an old girl. This is from the 50s, late 50s, could possibly be early 60s. I'm dating this one around late 50s, just by the looks of it and looking at some of these online. This knife was taken by my father-in-law from, he was a law enforcement officer for many years, and it was taken from somebody that he apprehended. And of course, this was back in the 60s or 70s when they would just take things like this home after having them so long. This is a big boy. You see how it just filled the camera screen. Strong spring. Again, now this has the older type design. You know, that's the lock. Again, this thing will fly out of your hand. The lock does work on this one. As you can see, this tip has been distorted a bit. It's off center. Whoever had this tried to sharpen it, look like on a grinder. This side's pretty good, but I tried to make the most out of it. It was in poor shape, but these are highly collectible knives. Especially this brand. Everything on this thing is good. Other than that, I had to re-glue the bone. You know, it just kind of is what it is. It's a survivor. The lock does work. So see, but the backstory on this knife, the movie called West Side Story, for those of y'all that have heard of that started the whole thing with gang culture. It brought it out into pop culture, and of course people saw that and they would get the switchblade knives and dance back and forth and sing at one another. But in real life, a lot of gangs did use these. In law enforcement, they call these pig stickers. But the gangs would use these and they would rumble back and forth. You know, just that's what they called fighting, I guess, back then, or a standoff between the two gangs. And these knives got a bad rap, so they outlawed them for many years. You couldn't carry a stiletto style knife because of it was just a sign of that you were a bad dude. Gang violence. You know, a lot of times they were associated with a dude who wore a leather jacket, biker jacket, kind of a Fonzie looking guy, greaser. 1950s, early 60s. Anyway, great knife. I'm proud to have it in my collection. Again, my father-in-law did probably take this off of someone that he arrested late one night. But anyway, it's a really cool knife, cool piece of history. And that is my Switchblade collection. And JC Mountain Najjar will be sharing his, and I'm going to share mine. And anyway, I'm trying to get that to stand back. But again, show us your collection. If you've got Switchblades or stilettos, you know, even I would even throw in the out the fronts. I don't have any of those currently, but you know, any of those Switchblade style knives that actually led up to what we know now as the flippers and things like that, or assisted opening. That's how they got around the Switchblade law in many states, was the assisted opening knives kind of opened the door for what we know now is you know, fast opening knives. But these were it. These were the precursors. So y'all have a great day. Again, this is Stephen Jeffrey from SJ Relics, and this is an open tag from JC Mountain Najjar. Automatic knives. Have a great day.
1, 2, 3, 4. I get